Okay, I wound up taking the whole assembly apart, and okay, it was all mounted to this plate. You remember we cleaned this half of the plate, and we needed to get access to the other part of the plate to clean it. Well, it wound up being just easier to take off all of these components individually, and it really wasn't all that big of a headache. While I was there, I was able to do some recapping, and I also replaced some resistors. So I'm not just going to kind of move this off the bench, put it away, and then start to clean that plate. Alright, so there it is. I've got navel jelly all over the back of this plate, and I'm going to let it cook for a little while, and then we'll clean it off. Do the other side. Okay, this is the finished product, all cleaned up. Nice and shiny. I'm just going to set this aside and then check out a few more resistors and stuff. Alrighty, what I've got the capacitor analyzer faceplate put back on here and the knobs put back on here so that we can test this. I have back here some alligator clips hooked to the power cord, plugged into the Sencor PR57 isolation transformer and variac. And so we're going to kind of boot this thing up, see what happens. You gotta do it slowly. I hope these alligator clip leads they're really not thick enough, but we'll see what. I'm not going to give it. I may give it full power. We'll see what happens. So basically, this is showing line voltage at this point. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on that. Line voltage. 117 volts. Current, nothing right now because the variac's turned all the way down. Output volts all the way down. The power switch on the capacitor analyzer is off at this point. And alright, so basically what I've got here is the instructions, the owner's manual, and I'll show the capacitor here, the capacitor analyzer here in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of, yeah, and then we'll go, I'll do that while I'm talking, while you're looking at the face, then I'll go over these instructions. But basically this is going to be a real short test today because I don't have any leads that came with this. I have bought some parts to make leads with, and well, I haven't made them yet. So let's readjust the camera here so you can see the analyzer. Alright, so this is the analyzer. It's precariously perched on some wood blocks for now, because I don't want to crush the components underneath, and I want to see if something's going to start to get hot or smoke or whatever. I don't want to see that, you know. I want to be able to see that, so I don't want to put it in its wooden box. I've put the tubes in. I've got the 12A7 tube for the power rectifier, and I've got the 6E5 for the eye test. Got everything set to 0. This bank of buttons, they're all out. This bank of buttons are all out. The exception of the white button is in. The white button is the off button. When depressed is off, when out it's on. And let me read to you just a little bit about this. The upper bank of the switches operates the control circuits with different circuit connections for the in and out positions. Alright, the top button of this bank is connected to the switches in the lower bank. This one here, connected to these down here. When in the leakage position, which is the out position that it's in now, it connects to voltage to the lower. It connects voltage to the lower bank. All right. When it's in, sorry, leakage is in, like so. That's in. That's leakage test. Now that's going to put voltage down here. Alright, so when it's out, it connects to the main bridge circuit for capacity testing. So now, to get this back out, you have to kind of there, slightly like push a button about halfway, and then they all pop out. But I found that it only works on this top one, really. Maybe it needs some lubrication in there. Now, you can push 2 of these at a time. So like this button does electrolytic went in, like so. And paper and mica went out, like so. This one is a sensitivity control and a voltage control. Sensitivity went in, voltage went out. I can push 2 of these at a time. So I'm now doing electrolytic on sensitivity control. That's this control here. I can do a leakage test on electrolytic capacitor with both these two in. I can do an electrolytic test on a paper capacitor, a leakage test on a paper capacitor as such, and capacity test on paper capacitors like this. Anyway, these are simply the values. Okay. The operation of the analyzer is entirely safe under all circumstances, provided the instructions are followed carefully. With button C6 depressed, there is no voltage at the test terminals at any time. Alright, so anyway, right now I have 0 volts on this thing. I am going to go ahead and depress button 6. That put the off button in the out position, which now indicates that it's on. I'm just going to boot this. I'm going to give it some voltage now, and I want to see these tubes light up. And here goes nothing. And right now we're at about 40 volts. see any current draw. Take it up to 50 volts. That's 50 volts. Yeah, I'm listening. Last time I cranked this thing up, all kinds of hum and everything. I'll turn off the light, see if it'll, see if I can see any glowing in the tube. I see a little life in that tube. A little life in that 12A7. Now, I have a tube tester, but I can't test these tubes in it. It doesn't have the right sockets. So I got a new tube tester. However, that tube tester is going to need an overhaul. But not too bad. It's in excellent condition. I've got a Hickok 534B. I'm taking this up to 70 volts now. Not even registering any current, but it could be. I'm not drawing any current hardly. Now that's got a little more glow to it. You can't see that. I'm almost positive you can't. So what I'm going to do is turn this light off over here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Very faint, two little dots on that thing, but anyway, crank it up a little higher. Turn this potentiometer up some and see if that does anything. Also, don't want to touch this metal plate any at all. That's why I put the knobs back on it. This won't come into play power factor until, well, it is in the out position, so that would come into play, but I think we need to engage one of these, which we'll do in a little bit. I'm going to crank it up a little bit higher, 90 volts. I'm registering a slight bit of current now at about not even an eighth of an amp. It doesn't seem to have any effect on it. Doesn't have any effect on it. So well, at least nothing's caught fire. I don't see any smoke. You see it's on 90 volts right now. Take it up to 100. This is a very nice unit. I really like this Sencor PR57. I was going to get a separate isolation transformer and a separate variac and a separate ammeter and build something. They're up to about a quarter, not even a quarter. Now we're about up to 1/8 of an amp there. This top yellow band is the 0 to 1.5 amps. The lower yellow band is the 0 to 4 amps and up to 470 watts. So let's give this thing full 117. Alright, so we got 117 going into it. I see a little glow inside the 6E5, down in the center of the 6E5. Not any, I don't see anything green on there because, well, we don't have anything hooked up to it, and we haven't. There's a little green eye now. As I brought that up just a slight, you wouldn't be able to see just a line right here in the center. Indicating that it's come on.